Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first ever cozy catch up together. I am back from my vacation. I've got some fun new technology here to try out with you guys to make this seem a little bit more like I have my act together. But it's wonderful to be back with you, be back in the air conditioner. Um, had a very lovely, restful week up in New England. We visited family in Massachusetts as well as Maine, and it was fun. We had a good laugh, and I will be sharing a more in detail a more in detail readout of all of the adventures and misadventures that we had during our trip. Um, Looking back on it now, it really wasn't that bad. But at the time, we had quite a few things go wrong for us during the vacation. Some of them were my poor mom throwing her back out. Others were losing power when it was, 90 something degrees outside. So that meant no fans, no air conditioners. What else did we have go wrong? Oh, we thought our credit card had been stolen. Um, the restaurant that we had scheduled for my dad's birthday, which was kind of the one of the reasons that we were up north at that time to begin with, called and canceled the day of his birthday to let us know that they were closing the restaurant because it was too hot. So we had a lot of things go wrong, misadventures, but all in all, we had a lovely time. The weather was warm, but that made for fun times at the lake. And I got to do some swimming, got to do some reading. George and I went and explored some of the local towns where we could go shopping to either get out of the rain or to just enjoy the picturesque Maine scenes. And it certainly made me very much want to write a cozy mystery set in Maine. Definitely had that kind of bubbling in the back of my mind while we were there. So all in all, it was good fun. In my newsletter this week, I will be sending out kind of like a funny little essay um, about our stay, and then probably expanding upon it a little bit more for my Writers Who Kill post, because really it just like was one thing after another. The one it was just it was fun. We had a great time. The dogs were crazy as always. I think poor Ito has regressed even more uh, from from his usual hatred of other dogs. Ever since we got back, he has just been going off his rocker anytime he sees a dog, more so than he had before we left. So I'm thinking about upping his medication. We'll see how it goes. So I'm happy to be back. Mizan, hi on Instagram. Thanks. I am glad that you like my new intro, my title. I had fun making all of those up. You know me, I love doing designs and graphics, so it was fun to put something together. And then over on Facebook, we have Susan, we have Laura, and we have Ashley coming in for our chat today. So thank you guys so much for being here. It wasn't a cozy mystery. It was actually a book that was recommended to me by the one of the clerks at the Barnes and Noble that we went to. One of the days that it rained on us, George and I drove over to Augusta, which is the capital of Maine, but it also has a Barnes and Noble. And so we did some book shopping, and I guess based on the books that we purchased, which mine were some manga, and George bought I think it was a Terry Pratchett book. The clerk recommended their book of the month, which was called Bitten. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar. I think it was the author was Jordan Gray. And it was a young adult fantasy. And it had been a long time since I've read a book like that, and I read it in 2 days. I, like, blew through it. I was hooked. I was, like, totally antisocial while I was reading it. It's been a long time since I've read a book in that kind of frame of mind, where I'm just, like, I tune everything out and I just focus on the book itself. Um, and I really, really enjoyed it until I got to the end, and the end was just kind of it just reminded me of kind of all of the other books that I have read like that. I read, like, the what is it? The Red Queen. That was a great series up until the end, and it's always just because I picked the wrong person to root for. I have a habit of picking the wrong guy in the love triangle. So it was just kind of a letdown at the end. It's like, "Oh, man, why did I have to pick the wrong person to kinda root for in this?" But it made me remind, like, how much a book can, like, transport somebody, how can it can, like, consume someone. And so it was honestly, like, a great reminder for me as a writer, what a book can do as for a reader's experience. So even though the ending wasn't my favorite, I really, really enjoyed the book. And if anybody is interested in, like, not vampires, I always get it was werewolves. It was where a young woman is turned into a werewolf, and she has to, like, get familiar with how, like, the werewolf court operates. And it was very interesting. And Mizan, I believe, it is a series. I don't know how many books are in the series, because I think just the first 2 are out. The first one's called Bitten, and then the second book is Devoured. I think I might listen to the second book on audiobook, because I don't have time to read the way that I did when I was in Maine, because, like, I literally just ignored everybody and read for a day. And unfortunately, I can't do that here. So listening to it on audiobook, I think, would be very helpful, because I could be doing other things while I am furthering myself in the story. So yes, if you're into, like, where it was werewolves, lots of drama and, like, politics, like court politics of, like, how the werewolves operate. It was a really cool structure. I enjoyed it. But very much like, if anybody here reads the Sarah J. Moss books. It was sort of like that. I mentioned the Red Queen. I think Veronica Roth wrote books that were similar, to this style. And Mizan, I was hoping that that would be the case, where the main character would end up with the person that I wanted her to end up with, but I don't wanna spoil it, so I'm not gonna say anything. But it was a good twist. I was like, "Wow, I did not see that twist coming." It was just unfortunate that it did. So that was, that was part of that was a significant portion of what I did besides, swimming, was reading, which was lovely, because it was a nice way to kind of remind myself what it means to be a reader and a writer at the same time. Um so that was a good moment for me. Other things that happened while we were up north, we went to this event, that was right out of a cozy mystery book. It was called Ales for Tales, where the local brewery, near where my parents live, was hosting a fundraiser for a German Shepherd rescue, and it was actually the rescue that my parents had adopted their dog Nico from. And I think it was every drink that was purchased at the event, $1 went to the rescue network. And people brought their own dogs that had been adopted. There were dogs there that were, like, ready to be adopted, and it was just very therapeutic to go and hang out with some dogs, and drink. I think I had some homemade root beer that they make, which was a lot of fun. And the dogs there were so beautiful. There was a little guy who was not a German Shepherd, but they said he was a Chihuahua mix, but he was definitely bigger and fuzzier than a Chihuahua would be. And he was just like, take me home right now. I very much fell in love with him. but unfortunately, as you guys know from my last adventure of trying to get another dog, that our apartment doesn't they don't allow us to have more than 2 animals. So, um, I was trying to convince my parents, it's like, don't you want another dog?" Because he was just such a cutie. Um, they all were, all of those animals. I just wanna, like, hug them all and help them however I can. But that was a nice way, especially after all of the kind of chaos that we had, um, during the week. Um, and it was funny because our dogs do not get along very well with my parents' dogs. And it's really just Ito doesn't get along with anybody, except for Evie. And he had some moments where we thought, "Oh, maybe he's like everything's getting better and like he'll finally just chill out and accept that like, hey, these dogs are not going to attack you." But then like the day that we left, there was a showdown and poor Ito was on the losing end of it. And I think that kind of set him back a little bit. But Evie did fine. She was okay hanging out with Nico and Louise while we were there. And so what we would do is we would take Ito for we got this float that was a dog float, and it he could float with us while we were in the lake, and he could hang out and have some fun while the other dogs just stayed and you know were dogs. And Ito got some time alone, and he had fun. He's right here next to me. Trying, I was supposed to take him out before going live, but I ran out of time. So he's very antsy about, Sarah, you need to take me outside. He and Evie are both playing with their new toys that they got from the groomer yesterday. So they got new fresh cuts, which is lovely. And I see Grace. Thanks for joining. The homemade root beer was delicious. It was so. It's been a while since I've actually had root beer. And it was so refreshing and the strength of it was really surprising, but it was very tasty. I'm trying to think of what other fun foods we tried. George is a big fan of ice cream, so I tried to bring him to all of these different ice cream locations throughout Maine. The only issue is that we usually ate our lunch beforehand, and so we were always really full by the time that we got to these ice cream places. But we still had some really good ones. I had a delicious it was called Gold. Oh, I can't quite remember the name of it, but it was golden vanilla ice cream mixed with like chocolate fudge and, brownie bits and all of that caramel, all that good stuff. And I don't know if anybody is familiar with golden vanilla, but that is a very, very good silky ice cream base. Um, and in fact, I was like, wow, I really, really liked it. I'm not usually like a vanilla person. The golden vanilla was very, very yummy. It had such a like nice, smooth sweetness to it that I really, really enjoyed. We had a lot of pancakes, which were delicious. My mom made some really great homemade pancakes with a blueberry sauce that was delicious. What else? Oh, I had some whoopie pies. I'm a big whoopie pie person. I do love a good whoopie pie. And then we even though the restaurant that we initially intended to go to for my dad's birthday canceled on us, we ended up going to a really nice pub in Hollowell, Maine, which is it's actually kind of near where we normally go for the botanical gardens at Christmas that I have shared about before. And we had a really nice meal there. Everybody around me had seafood, and although my mom she had a pot roast, um, and the I had a really nice salad with a side of French fries, and the French fries were delicious. Although I didn't eat them all, and I brought them home to eat later, but then I forgot to eat them, and then of course we left, so my parents got to enjoy them on my behalf. Um, but it was good food. We definitely had some good food adventures, which was great because we did a lot of swimming. So it was a nice balance of like eating and exercise throughout the visit. Um, and Mizan, your favorite flavor is vanilla. That's my when I was a little kid. and we had like big family reunions, one of my cousins, he would always order 2 scoops of vanilla, no matter what we did, no matter where we went. It was always 2 scoops of vanilla. I'm a mint chocolate chip gal. I love mint chocolate chip. And for me, it's the greener the better. If it is like super green, I know that the color has nothing to do with the flavoring, but there's something about like the look of it that's just, you know, computes in my brain that way. And I love mint chocolate chip. But I'm also a big fan of anything that has like peanut butter, chocolate peanut butter, or a like super chocolate fudge brownie, like as much chocolate that you can cram into it. That's always a win. Um, and the dogs even got some fun treats while we were up there because we found this. George found it was like a little contraption that it was like a peanut butter ball that you put into this chewing device, it's kind of like a Kong ball, but it was more open with little pockets for them to like get their teeth into and chew on. Um, and so you put the ball in, and it takes like forever for them to lick through the device to finish the peanut butter ball, or so we thought, because Icho demolished his. He found a way to like really get into the peanut butter and just like break it apart and eat it, whereas it took Evie like almost an hour to lick through. So it was funny because usually Evie's pretty smart about getting food, so the fact that it was kind of a reverse situation where Icho finished his really quickly and Evie was like, "What the heck is going on? Why is it taking me forever to get this peanut butter?" Was very funny. Um, Short, sweet, and cozy. Hello, thank you for joining. Welcome. Um, I and happy August. Since I wasn't here last week. It is my first week back of August, even though it's already August 12th. This month is flying by so quickly. um, I'm kind of getting ready into my like back to school mode, um, where I am finishing up some projects on my end that are not really writing related. Well, they're not my writing related. I am reading a couple books for some of my fellow author friends and providing feedback, and seeing if I can help them with any plot holes or struggles that they're having, which I always have a really good time. Um, I love like helping people with puzzles, and so that's been fun stuff that I've been working on. But I am preparing to get ready to get back to writing the next Coco Klein book, which it's book 6. I'm still waiting. I do. That's a reminder for myself that I have to reach out to my publisher to kind of get an update about where we are on book 5, because I'm ready to go on book 5. I want to make sure I want to share my cover. I want to share the cover with you guys. I want to share like what Coco and her friends are up to. I believe we're aiming for an October release date, but hopefully it'll be up on NetGalley and or Booksprout in the near future. So I'll be sending out my newsletter this weekend because I got a lot of stuff going on this weekend for you guys. I'm a part of a promotion where it's a group of cozy mystery authors. Um, where we are promoting, it's kind of like one of those like mass like book sale things that it's cozy mysteries having to do with animals. And so all of our books are not on sale for 99 cents. And so I am going to be promoting Over My Dead blog because everybody will get to meet Langdon and hang out with him in Copper Bay. But I'm excited to be able to introduce you guys to a lot of other cozy mystery authors, for hopefully a reasonable price, 99 cents, downloads across the available platforms. I believe most of these books are exclusive to Kindle, but like mine, there are some that are going to be available on Barnes and Noble, Apple, Kobo, all of that good stuff. So um, be on a lookout for not only that in my newsletter this week, but I am also doing it's like an author swap where a group of us have gotten together, and for the next 12 months, each of us is going to feature one of the other in our newsletters going forward. And it's a way to, introduce you guys to authors you may not have heard of. And it's also a way for me to get to know new authors myself, because I'm always one of the biggest things that has been probably the best thing, well, not the best thing, but equal to, obviously sharing my stories, hearing from you guys, but just the community that I've gotten to meet, the people. I'm a very introverted person. I like to stay in my own little bubble, but I do love meeting people, online, virtually, connecting through different channels. And so has been a fun way for me to kind of get in with meeting other people and expanding my network. So I'm excited about that. That'll all be in my newsletter coming out this weekend, which I still have to put together, but, that is a task for another day, probably tomorrow, because it's already Wednesday and I need to get my act together. Um, Mizan, I see that you say vanilla is a clean slate. It goes with so many toppings. I would agree, but also mint chocolate chip goes with a lot of toppings as well. Uh, but I do love using vanilla for a brownie sundae. I think that's probably the best and like the purest way to go. Um, I just love ice cream. I love ice cream, I love cake, I love whoopie pies, I love candy. We actually got some new chocolate that we saw, or I saw advertised on Instagram. It's like, "Oh, I wonder if that actually tastes good." And it's made of cacao and dates. Dates are used as the sweetener, and, I'm surprised by how good it is. It's not as, like, silky and milky as chocolate is, because there's no sugar in it to kind of cut that sweetness. But I am enjoying, there's like an orange chocolate flavor that is delicious. And I'm kind of on like an orange flavor kick. I had a blood orange martini that was delicious. I tried making it myself while we were in Maine, but I couldn't find blood orange juice anywhere. So I swapped it for mango juice, which I love mango juice as well. So that that was fun. But yeah, anytime I see blood orange, I'm like really intrigued by it. I really like the flavor of it. So that was another fun. I had a lot of good cocktails. Yesterday I had an apple martini, which was delicious. And trying to think, besides the root beer, other things that tasted good. I think, I can't remember now. I'm blanking. But yes, I do love my food. I should just Ooh, you grew up on mango juice, Mizan. That's delicious. I love mango. That's one of my favorite fruits. I love having it. I have like a big I love when always get my mango refresher at Dunkin'. Even in Maine, I was like, I gotta find a Dunkin' Donuts and go get a refresher. I love mango. When we go to London, there's a restaurant that they give out pieces of like hard mango candy, that is really good, because it's um, such a nice smooth texture and like finish, and it just like feels very good. Um, Watching wise, I'm trying to think if we watched really anything. We did watch a scary movie while we were up in Maine. Which was It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. We watched Hokum, I believe was the name of it. Um, Adam Scott I just knew him from Parks and Rec as Ben Wyatt. He plays I think he was a writer. Um, but he was so mean. He was so mean, especially the folks that were, like, his fans. He was just really mean to them. He's a writer who goes to, this hotel, and, like, weird things start happening. Um, it was fine. It was enjoyable. There were a couple of jump scares that got my mom, but not really anybody else. And I think it's just because I've watched so many scary movies at this point. It's like, "Ugh, I know that something's coming." But it was interesting. I liked the lore that was behind it, and being in my parents' kind of, creaky farmhouse kind of made it atmospheric as well. We're also watching George and I are watching Ripper Street, which I'm not sure how I didn't know about this TV show, before, like, finding it on BritBox. But it takes place after in like the time period following the Jack the Ripper killings in London, and so it's old school detective work, but there's like a lot of like gritty behind, or kind of just like uh atmospheric period piece vibe to it that I really enjoy, and I love Matthew McFadden. He plays the lead detective in it, and I just love him. So we're watching that on BritBox, which has been fun because they're about an hour episode, so they have a very um almost like movie-like feel to them where, you get to go a little bit deeper than you do in most crime shows where, the ones that are like 40 minutes long. So we've been enjoying that. And then we also watched the finale of the previous season of Ted Lasso so that we could get kind of all ready to watch the new season that is out. But we haven't watched it yet because I don't want it to be over. Uh, I love that show so much, and watching the last episode of what I thought was gonna be, like, the series finale, because back when they ended the show, it was kinda like, "Okay, we're done with this," and I don't wanna feel that way again. I don't wanna feel like, "Oh, no, it's over." So, I'm kind of waiting, and for some reason, I don't know, like, what my social media feeds are doing. I have not seen any spoilers about it, which is great. Hopefully that I've said that out loud, it's not gonna happen now. But I also was pretty good about staying off of social media, and unplugging last week. Although I did kind of, check in each at the end of each day to make sure like the world was still in one piece. Um, and catching up on things that have happened, and figuring out like what's going on is, I mean, it's wild out there, guys. I was chatting with a couple of my author friends last night, and it's getting really, I don't know about you guys in like your everyday life, but for me, my everyday life, it's just like so hard to comprehend where we are as a country, and the things that are going on, and the awful things that are just happening to people that should not be happening. Um, and it's just getting really, really rough to kind of keep the keeping it from leaking into other parts of life. I don't know if you guys are feeling that. Um, it just like there's just such a heaviness that I'm trying to keep out of my writing, of course, because cozy mysteries are meant to be escapes and they're meant to be fun. Um, but it's getting really, really tricky. And so what I've had to do from a writing standpoint is just do very short writing sprints, where I focus on one scene and getting that one scene like down and in some type of like good shape for moving the story forward, and then I just stop because often when I write, I kind of sit and ponder, and I'm looking out at the scene around me and it's like, oh, like what else could I do, like, oh, I should keep going. um but I think when I do that, when my focus begins to drift a little bit, I begin to think about all the terrible things that are happening, not only here but just around the world. And it's really it's just really disturbing, how amazing humanity could be, and how a lot of people are choosing not to be amazing. And it's really sad. So I hope that you guys are taking care of yourselves, but you're also making plans to vote, and to make sure that your voice is heard. Um, I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but I I just really hope that we're all on the same page when it comes to everybody deserves the right to live freely, to live authentically, no matter your race, religion, um, you know, what like what is going on in your life. I just hope that we can get ourselves out of this because I it's getting to be a lot. But I'm so glad that I have this little space with you guys to share with you my silly adventures, the things that are going on in life that make me laugh, that make me smile, that do bring lightness and a reprieve from all of the chaos that we are faced with. Um, So thank you for stopping by and for being here. Um, be on the lookout, as I said, for my newsletter at the end of the week. Probably it'll go out. Let's see, it'll probably go out on Friday to give you something to look forward to, and it'll be probably a little longer because I will kind of have a fun little comedic essay for you about my visit, so you can just see how many things, how many misadventures we had in 1 week's time. It was definitely one of those things like, oh, what else could go wrong? And then it would just be like, here, here's something else. But again, I hope you all are taking care of yourselves, that you're doing well. Um, some of you have shared personal news with me that I hope that you are being able to handle however you need to handle, take care of yourselves, um, and all of the you know just do what you have to do to take care of yourselves, and keep on keeping on. Um, Mizan, will there be a book club update? Sure. Yes, there will be. I have to. I will probably do another kind of call for people who are interested in it, just to make sure that we have enough folks to make it worth everybody's while, so that you don't just have to hear me talking again for the duration of the meeting. But I will definitely add that into the mix, and see, probably maybe get something set up for the October timeline, because my September is crazy. But crazy in a good way, I hope, at least. So I will definitely have that added in, as well. Uh, Anything else I wanted to talk to you guys about today? I think that's it, for the meantime. I'll be back next week with another cozy catch up. Hopefully, I hope you guys like the new name, and it was. I wanted to kind of psych you out when I said during our last lunchtime live that it was the final lunchtime live. Um, I just got a lot of people had asked about it, and they're like, "Are you like cooking during this? Like, what's lunchy about it?" And I was like, oh, "Okay, well, let's rebrand." I do love a good rebranding, so this is hopefully a little bit more. You know, it explains pretty clearly what we're doing, in the title. So hopefully that is that'll be fun going forward. And I would agree, Mizan, cozy is my favorite word. One of my favorite words. I do love the word shenanigans a lot, as well as whimsical, ethereal, epitome. I love those. I love those things. And we have Laura agrees with the new title. We have Susan saying having a great rest of the week and weekend. Yes, the weekend will be here before you know it. And guess what? The bookish moment is going to be back pretty soon. I can't believe how quickly our hiatus flew by. I actually had like a little like heart skip yesterday because I was getting my Zoom set up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to like start building out all of the Zoom calls for our meetings, in September. So it's always there's always something going on. So again, I appreciate you guys being here. And short, sweet, and cozy. I hope. Thank you for being here and for brightening my day. It's always great to hang out with you guys and hear from you, see what's going on. Also wanted to send a couple shout outs to some new releases for the week. We have Paula Charles with her All Shook Up. Latest hometown hardware mystery. I got to read an early copy of it, and I just love Donna. I love that world, and it's another great mystery. It takes place in the wintertime, so if you need to cool off, it's a great book to do that with. Also, Kylie Forsyth is a new author. Her book, Murder at the Agency, is out. I had the pleasure of working with Kylie for one of I think it was a Sisters in Crime class that I taught on like media kits and all of that good stuff. So I got to connect with Kylie quite a while ago, and it's been fun to see her journey to publishing. And so that's another book you guys can add to your list. Yes, congrats to all of those new releases. Really quickly before we go, you guys helped me crush the You Can't Handle the Truth. my goal of getting to over 100 reviews so that I could submit for a BookBub deal. I got my BookBub deal, and it was such a huge help. It was like so awesome. I am thrilled. I'm got met or connected with so many new readers. And I've already had new folks reaching out to me being like, hey, like this is my first book of yours that I've ever read. And, I really loved it. And so that was a big win for me on a professional note. My next goal is to get Over My Dead blog to 100 reviews so I can do the same. So I can get Winnie and her friends in front of more readers, which help me keep the lights on, keep all of my subscriptions up to date so I can keep writing and keep delivering for you guys. So if you can help spread the word for getting those reviews, I would really, really appreciate it. Also, if you guys haven't checked out Caboodle of Cozy's lovely review of Get a Candle on Crime was so moving. It brought tears to my eyes. I absolutely loved reading um, Mizan's thoughtful and insightful review. You know, she comes at it with such like a lovely perspective, and I just really, really appreciated it. So the that was a really a bright spot for me. Amazon, on where do the number of reviews count? Mizan, at least in my experience, has been BookBub, but Amazon also, like, once you meet certain thresholds, they begin to like promote and suggest your book on other books. So like people who read, other cozy mysteries, they would be like, oh, like you might like a book by Sarah, because enough people have liked her books that we are comfortable recommending them. So those reviews, but the one for me that was like a huge, like, wow, I can't believe how much a review helped, was for a BookBub feature deal. If you guys are BookBub subscribers, I get like the email that's like, here are all the deals on cozy mysteries. And what we do on our end is we submit our books to be like, hey, like my book is 99 cents right now. I would really appreciate it if you could share it with your reader base, which is like, 500,000 subscribers at this point. Um, and in the past, I have always gotten rejected. And once You Can't Handle the Truth, though, got to over 100 reviews, they're like, you've been accepted. And they gave me a date. And that was a huge win for me. Um, and so I'd like to do the same for Over My Dead blog. And so if we can get it to over 100 reviews, it doesn't have to be Mizan on the BookBub platform. But so I always just direct people to Amazon because that seems to be like the biggest one where it it affects the most and helps the most. But that was like a fun learning experience for me because reviews do help us. I know that we're always like saying like review, 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 and it's like, what is it really doing? But apparently it helps get you a BookBub deal, which is awesome. So I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who's left a review. It helps so much. And I look forward to catching up with you guys next week with whatever happens. Who knows? I'm going to go thrift shopping this weekend. That's like on my to-do list. I'm excited. I found like this really nice thrift store nearby. So I'll have to let you know if I find anything good. But again, take care of yourselves. Be well. Drink lots of water. Get lots of sleep. Watch some fun TV. And we'll catch up with each other next week. So be careful, everybody. Take care. And I will